Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 19 of What If Naruto was the hope of the Uchiha clan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way over in Anime King 2 and Anime King 3. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, would you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Tobirama found out that the king was dead, along with his brother, Inama. As Tobirama felt the darkness taking over him even more, as his chest was completely dark. He remembered the day that it happened, when he was in a cell. Some of the Uchiha guards that were there were starving him, and not to mention, attacking him on spite. Naruto had put a stop to it once he had returned, but before he had returned, Tobirama had made a deal with a creature that told him that he could make sure that he wasn't harmed. The thing had bonded with him, his wounds had healed instantly, and he felt powerful. But now, it was getting corrupted. He wanted him to go and kill Madara. So he made his way out in the forest where he was an end his life. But Mikato and Danzo arrived out there. As they stopped him, the creature left him after Mikato shocked him with a writing blade. It was none other than Zetsu. They faced off against the creature as they were able to destroy it. Tobirama was the one leading the faction to take the rule from Naruto. But now he realized the army that he was going to get from the black creature was not the army. It was the Otsutskis coming here to pillage and kill all of them. He screwed up really bad. He told them to go and warn the others quickly. And he stood by. And he faced off against the army of Otsutskis and the dead. With his Hiroshin and his Thunder Blade, he was like a one-man army. The battle was chaotic and destructive. He fought until he couldn't fight anymore. That was when he saw a massive dragon in the sky. As it was none other than Madara, raining down black flames, incinerated everything around him. As Madara came in like a bomb, they were able to wipe away all the remaining dead, but Tobirama was on his last leg as he dropped to the ground. As he thanked Madara, he apologized for what he did. As they all knew that he was gonna die, his injuries were far beyond what they could imagine. But he died with a smile on his face, knowing that the Uchihas and Senjus would not fall. As Madara said, yes, they were a team. He apologized though for all that he did. But Madara simply gave him a salute for staying behind and holding off the enemy so they wouldn't be overrun. And all of the traitors had been captured. Meanwhile, things weren't looking so good for the army. Snelly and Hashirama had got to work, but Naruto was still unconscious. Until Itachi came and told him to hurry. They made their way there and they saw him. He was awake. His body was frail. He was tired, but he was speaking. Shiso walked up to him with a blade. As Shiso noticed his eyes when he touched the blade, his eyes split into the Mangekyou, and the blade released an engine that filled Naruto up rather quickly. His hair returned back to normal and his skin returned back to normal, as a power was inside of him that raged. His eyes glanced towards Kurama. Kurama could see the anger as Naruto asked to be alone with the fox. It was then that Naruto revealed what he was told by Indra. The reason why Kurama was by the Uchiha, the reason why the Uchiha Sharingan had run out, the reason why the bloodline had became non-existent was because of what Kurama did. To stop this from ever happening again, after Indra had lost himself to madness and tried to awaken Kaguya by mistake. He had been killing all Uchihas with the Sharingan. But not just that, all who looked like they were gonna weaken the Sharingan, all powerful Uchiha warriors, Kurama had slaughtered them over the years. He had been slaughtering Uchihas after Uchihas and putting their line to extinction, taking away the Sharingan. As Naruto was furious, Kurama tried to justify his actions, say that he was given a mission by the sage, but Naruto didn't want to hear any of it, as a swirling vortex appeared around him and Kurama and sucked them away. So yeah guys, that's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the play sector for yourself. So this will be in this new episode. Kurama blinked as he looked around. Mountains were all around him. Light barely reached his area, as he was given a gloomy expression, and Naruto stood right in front of him. Kurama's never felt so much power in any other Uchiha after Indra than the one that he was feeling right now inside of Naruto. Deep in that twisted heart was so much pain, anger, and sadness. Naruto, don't fall for the curse of these eyes, said Kurama. Maybe I'm falling, said Naruto, but it does not change the fact you've been lying to me my entire life. From the beginning, you were an enemy of the Uchiha. You killed so many of my people, innocent and guilty both. On the words of a crazy old man, Naruto yelled. Kurama was about to reply, but the dark power inside Naruto surged, like a raging volcano, making him take a step back. Will you kill my daughters too if they ever awaken these eyes? Did you ever wonder, not all Uchiha wanted them? That is in our blood, awaken when we're consumed by grief. Not every Uchiha is a monster. Who gave you the goddamn right to kill my people? Naruto yelled. Indra nearly destroyed the world when he awakened those eyes. He fell for darkness, just like you are right now, said Kurama. As he didn't understand why could the boy understand that it was necessary to keep the peace. You condemn and murder entire generations of my people for the crimes of one man, said Naruto. The Osutskis are about to destroy the world, and you're stuck in the past, Kurama hissed in disappointed tone. The past? It's not about that, Fox. It's about us, our friendship. I've never lied to you, never kept secrets from you, stood by you no matter what. But I never knew you truly, did I? Kurama said Naruto, as his tone was now sad. I was bound by my duty, Naruto. You have to understand that, pleaded Kurama. Every one of us has a choice, Fox. I made mine when I chose to kill those scumbag Uchihas that night. They were my clansmen, but I did what was right despite my allegiances. I made peace with the killers of my brothers for the sake of my people. I only lied to my wife for the safety of my daughters, and even then eventually I told her the truth. Were you ever going to tell me the truth about you? About what you have done, said Naruto, as he waited, but Kurama could not find the words. Naruto couldn't believe what he was seeing. When Indra had told him this, he had denied all of it. Kurama wouldn't do something like that, and he definitely wouldn't lie to him about it. Hunting down innocent Sharingan users, ripping and slaughtering them. He had refused to believe it. But now here was his friend completely silent, to show that it was indeed true. He had trusted the Fox with everything, more than he ever did with Madara, his own blood brother. Yet the Biju had twisted history, make his ancestors appear to be bloodthirsty monsters. It had all been about what the sage asked him, all been about the sage wishes. As Naruto's heart broke, as he wondered if this was how Indra felt when Ashura betrayed him. Were Indra descendants forever to be betrayed? Would you have forgiven me if I told you the truth, said Kurama. You were the first friend I made in a lifetime. You were different from your people. I could not afford to lose you over my past. Kurama's eyes were unable to meet Naruto's. You should have given me a chance to make my own decision, just as I gave one to Snelly, said Naruto sadly. As Kurama glanced towards the boy, all he saw was a broken look within his eyes. You were my brother, Kurama, said Naruto. As Naruto turned his back on him, the dark portal opened once again, proving the fact that Naruto had mastered his new eyes. When Naruto looked back, there were tears falling from his eyes. I loved you. The portal consumed the king, making him disappear, and Kurama's world came crashing down. Time skip. Naruto stood on top of the mountain as he observed the vast army beneath him. He had a lot more men to fight his enemy with, but most of them were scared sheep. who would run at the first sight of the enemy. Most of his elites were butchered and turned into the enemy force. He could not help but wonder if these current people could face their loved ones as their enemies. Would they flee? Would they crumble? Would they hope that this nightmare ended? Weak. He could not rely on numbers. Not anymore. His trusted friend had betrayed him. The only one that he could trust with his back was his trusted 4 childhood friends. No matter. He was not weak anymore. Either these warriors would man up and fight for their survival or perish. There was no room for weakness against death. As he clenched his fist as he remembered Kimimaru, arrogant smirk when he had killed Neri and almost killed him. He could feel those bastards approaching, and soon he would face that worm once again. But this time he would rip him alive, tear him piece by piece before incinerating him. He would make such a spectacle that generations to come would speak about the horrors that he did to that man. He took a few deep breaths to calm his hatred. Injure had warned him that his new power will change him, and the man was not wrong. Never in his entire life he thought Kurama would ever betray him like that. He had shared everything with the fox, thinking that he was a friend, only for him to be betrayed. The Bicho could do whatever he wanted, he just did not care anymore. There was one more person he had to confront before going into battle, to settle his mind so his mind was not conflicted by silly issues ever again. As he made his way off, time skip, Snelly blinked in surprise as Naruto marched into her tent. She had trouble believing that he recovered so quickly from his injuries. Even if his wounds were healed, his body shouldn't be strong enough so fast. She had never understood why the Uchihas were so protective of Dawn, but after seeing the power the blade had, now she understood. She didn't know why, but she could feel a change inside of Naruto's aura. A sense of bitterness and bubbling anger was what she felt when she tried to feel his aura. He took a deep breath to calm himself, as a look of regret came on his face. I'm sorry about Inma. I just came to know about him now. I will avenge him and Neri, Naruto promised fiercely. She approached him and laid a hand on his shoulder as her eyes met his. There is something different about you, and it's not just your eyes, she said. He was about to tell her the truth, but he stopped himself. He needed to set things clear first before making another mistake. He had already made one by trusting Kurama blindly. He could not afford to make another one with his wife, no matter how much she's dear to him. I've been through a lot, said Naruto. I'm sorry about your aunt. I wish I had known her better, Snelly consoled him. The air of awkwardness around them was heavy. They both felt it. Snelly reached out as she grasped his cheeks. There is a distance between us, Naruto, she said. Let us not widen it any further. Thankfully, their separation had given her time to think things through. I'm sorry, she whispered. The aura of angerness and bitterness lessened greatly. Something had changed inside him, but she could still feel his old self there. It was buried deep though, under pain and anguish. You will be loyal to me and our family. I really like you, Snelly, and in time, I will come to love you, said Naruto. But not if you let your emotions rule our relationship. I will trust you with everything in my life and never hide anything from you again from this point onwards. Can you promise to do the same? Can you give me your unwavering loyalty? He asked her, looking into her eyes. Yes, she promised. She couldn't help but feel a bit turned on at his commanding presence as well. He had been so hesitant and careful before, but now it was like she was truly in the presence of a king, someone that was ruling. There was no doubt or hesitation in his eyes, not even a bit, as she spoke. When you were gone, I blame myself for our fight. It was stupid of me to lash out like that, but I promise I'll be better, she said. It may take time, but I'll do my best for you. When I learned my brother died, a part of me died with him. But seeing you half dead made me realize that I've truly started to care about you. Neither of us are perfect, but we can build something by starting to understand each other, she said. I don't know if what I feel for you is love, but I do know I want you in my life, she confessed. She sighed in relief as a soft smile broke across his lips. Miss me that much, huh? He said, in a rather cocky tone. Don't push your luck, she said. He stole her breath away by placing a kiss on her lip. When they finally parted, she looked at him with a raised eyebrow. Someone seemed eager, she teased, as she grinned. Well, said Naruto, I can find someone else if you're not in the mood. as he muttered in a joking tone. She nearly growled as she ripped his shirt apart and pushed him roughly in the bed. As he rolled sideways, she jumped. As she crashed right on the bed, as she playfully punched him in his chest. He let her hit him for a few moments until he grabbed her arms and pinned her down. He started to plan kisses across her body when he noticed her eyes were moist. Inama, he asked gently, as he could see that she was hurting. They never had time to grieve. She never had time to grieve because he had returned in that state, and she and Hoshirama tried their best to heal him. She never had time to grieve about her brother that she would never see again. She could see it in his face as well. You're hurting, aren't you? She said. Despite him trying to not show it, he was also hurting. There's no time to mourn for the ones that we have lost. We have to fight, said Naruto. Unknown to her or anyone else, when he had woke up from his coma, he had first looked around to see Neri, hoping that it was all just a bad dream. And it was hard. While approaching to Snelly's tent, he had heard some others speaking about Inama's death. He was shocked. He thought that the young Senju was busy somewhere else. Not to mention Shin Aburami was also dead. Ayato Uzumaki. So many of them fell. It had been his duty to repel the enemy from Uza, but he had failed, resulting in heavy casualties on their side. Now he could not trust his strongest allies, certainly not after the secrets Kurama kept away from him intentionally. He still wasn't sure what the fox would do now, or what he himself was going to do against the beast. He eased up and looked at her face properly. How do you deal with someone that has hurt you? Someone that was dear to you, he said. Where is this coming from, she asked. He had promised that he wouldn't lie to her, so he told her everything. Ever since he fell unconscious at Uza, beaten of Inja, the history of their world, the role of the Osusuke, about his new eyes, and Kurama Pass. To her credit, she just listened, without interrupting him once. Given that she was so impulsive, she showed great control at just listening. He also told her about his spat with Kurama. You feel betrayed. He could not help but nod, because that was exactly what he felt towards the fox. I trust him with everything, but now, I cannot help but doubt whether his actions for helping me are to fulfill the sage wishes, to make the Uchihas and Senjus reconcile, or he did it just because he was my friend. What does your heart say, she asked. Honestly, right now I just want to harm the ones that hurt my friends and family. I don't know what to do, he said. These powers, she said, coughing his face, are making conflicting emotions inside you rise. They are clashing with you that you were before, and the you that you are today. To be honest, I don't know what is the right choice in this situation, but what I do know is, people can change in time. Even I never imagined myself marrying an Uchiha, much less coming here for one. Maybe it was a fox mission to sabotage your clan and keep them in check, but he went against his code by not harming you or your brother. He never knew that one day you would become king and bring peace to our people, but yet he fought at your side no matter what. He stood by you when even your own family was angry with you. He was one of the first to claim you king. Yes, his actions might have been influenced by the mission that the sage left him with, but despite that, he came to here for you. There come a point in everyone's life when they have to make tough choices, ones that are not easy to make. The fox made his when he chose you over his mission. It does not lessen his reason for keeping a secret away from you, or putting down your ancestors, but I think that just makes him more human. As Naruto smiled, she gave him a curious look. The beast thinks that he's better than humans, said Naruto. I cannot imagine his reaction when he realized he made a mistake, as any other human would. That ought to bring his overinflated ego down a peg or two, said Naruto, in a jokey tone. Even as he said that, she saw the conflicting emotion in his eyes. Up until now, the Osusukes had brought nothing but death and chaos at their doorstep, pushing them back every single time. As she held on to him, whatever happens, the victory or death, I will stand by your side until the end, she said. A ghost of a smile appeared on his lips. She was happy to see the confidence appear back in his eye. There will only be victory, or a greater victory, he promised. She did not say anything else, she simply kissed him. 2 days later, dark clouds spread across the sky that robbed all sign of sunlight. Heavy rains washed down in the mountain, drenching man and rock in its fury. Distant thunder roar. Occasional lightning strikes hit the soil, making the ground rumble furiously. Even in such dangerous weather, a gigantic mass of human stood strong. 50,000 against the wave of darkness that was led by Kimimaru Osusuke. The field was covered by different men and women, different armors, as they were nervous, their heart beating rapidly, as they looked towards a wave of darkness approaching. What made the living more nervous was the absence of a nine-tailed fox from their ranks. The beast was supposed to be their trump card, but yet, it was nowhere to be found. The thought of that had sent a worry, panic over the army, until Hoshiram and the king himself had stopped it. No explanations had been delivered, but the monstrous auras that came from the boatman silenced everyone's protests. Despite their doubts, they fall in line. Those same two men stood at the head of the army, alongside their queen. Behind them was a 4-king guard, along the left and right flank, maintained by Hanzo and Mifune. Even the civilian fighters could see that the enemy outnumbered them, maybe up to 3 times at least. But they didn't heard it, a monstrous roar. As everyone turned their head to see the beast charging towards them, he then came to a stop. The beast glanced towards the king. He flinched, though, when the king did not look at him once. The king's eyes were glaring murderously at the approaching form of Kimimaru Osusuke and the approaching army. He turned to look at his warriors. "I don't know what will happen tonight," said Naruto, "but I won't lie to you. It's gonna be brutal." Thousand winked at his words as they saw the approaching army of death coming towards them, but they focused on their king. "We've lost good people. We may lose more," said Naruto, earning nods from Hoshiram and Snelly as well. But he then clenched his fists. "The Osusukes attacked our world. They killed our people, our friends, our family. They think that we will crumble tonight before their might, but they're dead wrong." As the people start to get angry, realizing what their loved ones and friends were turned into by these bastard Osusukes, they started this war. But we will not just finish it, we will make them regret it. Tonight we show them and everyone else in this universe what happened when you cross mankind. Thousands of humans step forward with grim determination, fury burning in their hearts. As Naruto unleashed Dawn, everyone pulled their weapons. A deafening sound could be heard. No more running, no more hesitation, no more waiting. As King Naruto, ruler, first dragon, turned, as he released a battle roar, followed by 50,000 bloodthirsty roars, and from the monstrous fox, fire and blood he yelled as they move. Meanwhile, Kimimaru watched the army coming towards him along with the Dragon King. For the first time, the Osusuke was unnerved and eager at the same time. He could feel that power, that all unending hatred in one wounded heart, ready, waiting to explode. He looked at his half-burned body, which was a testament of that legacy hate and pain. A grim smile came on his lips. He raised his hand as the dead rushed forward. It was then a massive wave of black flames consumed hundreds, maybe even thousands, as it pathed the way right towards him, and the both of their eyes met. As the Dawn warrior marched towards him, this time he had no golden armor, no crown, no one at his side. As he marched triumphantly right towards Kimimaru, as his supporters were facing off against the dead, his eyes were locked on Kimimaru. Those dark eyes were filled with so much madness, hatred, unforgivable fury. It brought back fond memories of a time when Indra had fallen to the dark side. The fool would have been a good pawn if his love for his brother had not overrun him in the end. But this boy was much more stronger, much more vengeful, and everything Kimimaru Queen had ever demanded to gain from Uchiha. It was why he allowed his minions to let the king come towards him, while using supporters to block everyone else. But then, a Bichu bomb was launched from Krama that obliterated thousands. The base was going to be a problem, but a minor one. It's best if Kimimaru succeeded in his mission that was given to him by Hinata. As they now stood in front of each other. "We meet again," said Kimimaru with an amused smile. Yes, said Naruto, as he raised his ancestral blade. You're different. I can feel it. The power in your heart so great and dark. The pain in your heart is unbearable. Your soul is broken, said Kimimaru. You made me this way, said Naruto. It's fitting. I end you for that. As Naruto narrowed his eyes when he felt a chill envelop him. The aura was so dark it was full of misery. Twisted, as Kimimaru whispered a few words. As Naruto understood what they meant. The words were said in a different tongue, but he understood. Men shall never defeat children of the stars. A lone tear fell from Naruto's eye when he saw 9 figures surrounded him, full of despair and agony. How they must have felt when their soul was consumed by that dragon. They were once humans, people with dreams and ambitions. No more. As he gazed into a familiar pair of dark eyes that always had emotions and love in them for him, but now they were so empty. Tajima Uchiha. The blank soul stared at him without any emotions or anything. It was like a dagger being stabbed into his heart. He looked at the others and could not be further saddened, as he remembered who they were before. They were consumed in this darkness. Inuma Senju, Ayato Senju, Shin Aburami, Nehiro, Uzumaki. The last 4 ghosts had similar face and dark eyes, traits they got from their father, Indra. Men are doomed to die, King Naruto, said Kimimaru. All of the ghosts raised their ethereal weapons. Indra had warned him that this would happen, but nothing could have prepared Naruto for seeing his aunt, looking like this standing in front of him right now. Her smile, her happy laugh, her hugging him, telling him that everything's gonna be alright. And now, all this darkness started to plague his mind as he watches his brothers being ripped apart. He watches his father and his elder brother surrounded by death and despair before they vanish in the darkness as well. He saw a Sasuke warrior enter a temple. As Naruto's eyes widened as a Sasuke warrior butchered everyone inside. As Naruto saw the priestess, her lifeless eyes staring back at him, her stomach torn open, with 2 half-formed infants lying nearby. Do you see it now? Everything that you love and cherish will soon fall to darkness, whether through the swords of my people or the one true enemy. Your fate is sealed. What are you saying, said Naruto? As his voice was filled with nothing but despair, the dark visions became a bit too much for him to bear. The ruin of his house, the death of his family, his daughters. It was just too much. Kimimaru gave him a sad glance. There was actually sympathy in his glance. The real Osutskis are coming. The one who consume earths like this and destroy everything before moving on to the next conquest. No clan, no king, no shinobi, no samurai, no man can stop them. They are a force that feed upon power of man. Empowered by thousands of worlds they've already consumed across the galaxy, experiencing war and every other race, conflict, chaos. Through their countless conflict, they have never been stopped. Even in your most hopeful dreams, you cannot stand against them, said Kimimaru. Is that why you start this war, said Naruto? Why did you wait for so long then? Kimimaru seemed to ignore Naruto's questions. They will come. Mankind shall perish. They are masters of chakra and shinobis, will be the first to fall to their power. The power of my people is a fraction of what those warriors are capable of. They shall first turn the shinobi, then the samurais, and use them to conquer mankind. After that, they should harvest all the energy from this world before leaving behind a dead world. Naruto trembled as he saw visions of white-haired warriors arriving on Earth. He watched them conquer nations after nation. He watched them burn cities, villages, slaughtering everyone that stood in their way. He watched as the world of man was destroyed. Everyone he loved massacred down to the last person. In that dream, he watched the helplessness of his race. He watches all of them fall until nothing was left. Nothing. He fell to his knees, consuming despair and grief, as tears fell from his blood-red eyes. He looked up as a pale hand was outstretched towards him. As he looked to see, the hand came from Kimimaru. You can still save your loved ones, said Kimimaru. How do I know that you're not lying about the return of the true Osutsuki, said Naruto. How do I even know that anyone can defeat them after what you just showed me? Asked Naruto hesitantly. I am Kaguya's son, and my mother for all her faults and mistake. She only wanted to protect humanity. Her "we" was a bit harsh, but it was necessary for mankind to have a hope against the real Otsutskis. Mankind was never supposed to have chakra, because there was a risk of them being corrupted, like the Otsutskis, who would use their power against them ruthlessly. Only a selective few can stand by Kaguya's side and help her truly defeat the enemy. If mankind is to survive, we need you, King Naruto. Why me, Senju? I'll admit, I thought that you were weak, but my queen saw something inside of you. Something that made her believe that you're the chosen one, the finest of men, the one that shall do anything necessary to save his people, his family, his children. But I'm just one man, said Naruto. Kimimaru smirked at that. True, but you have the power to change the destiny of your race. Join us, and save the ones close to your heart before it is too late. Before Tajima, Madara, Snelly, your friends, your clan, your daughters, and for your son. Naruto glanced across the battlefield as he saw his race, fighting desperately. Hundreds were dying with the passing minutes, and it would only be 10 times worse when those Otsutskis came to Earth. As he saw Mito and Snelly fighting bravely against legions of death, as he looked towards her stomach, there was a faint light that was glowing and getting brighter. It made his heart swell with pride. He could also feel it. He didn't know how, but he could also feel the life, the two of them in Shizuka, waiting to experience this world, one that they shall not see if the true Otsutskis came to Earth. He looked into Kimimaru's eyes and looked for any deception, but he found absolutely none. The man was speaking the truth. If he managed to defeat Kimimaru and his group, losing many men in the battle, would he still be able to defeat the Otsutskis when they came to Earth? Would he be able to save the one that he loved? Doubt and fear plagued his heart like a storm, as his mind went over everything once again. You are the chosen one, Naruto Uchiha. You grew up with nothing, yet you pushed through it all. You fought through it all, gaining the trust, the loyalty, everything from your people. You brought peace to the world of man. You stand alone at the head. You are the one that holds it all together. It is your destiny. It is your destiny to protect this world of man by joining us and facing off against the true threat, said Kimimaru. As time seemed to pause around Naruto, Indra did not deny the possibility of the true Otsutskis coming one day to Earth to gain the power that he held. His ancestor wanted Hinata and Kimimaru dead, but what if killing them was not the perfect solution? They at least had an idea about the coming enemy, and they were doing everything necessary to stop them. If his shinobis were doomed to fall to the Otsutskis, was it correct to let them become the destroyers of the world of men? He knew what joining Kimimaru meant. He would have to eliminate shinobis completely from this world. To deny the Otsutskis any pawns, he would have to revive Kaguya and with her the Jubi, as she was the only one that was strong enough to face off against her clan that was coming. She was the one with the wisdom, the guidance. She was the one that can help them, but they will have to follow her, be under her leadership. He would have to stand with her to save his people, his family, his children. He looked at the ghosts around him as he looked towards Neri. He could not survive losing anyone else. No, he could not. To make it even worse, for his children to suffer this fate. For them to survive, he had to surrender to this darkness and let himself be consumed. It would break his heart, but at least this way, the ones that he loved would survive. In this world, you either die as a hero or live long enough to become a villain. As Naruto slowly got back to his feet, as Kimimaru simply watched him, not interrupting. I never want to be king, you know. Too much work and pressure, said Naruto, in a nostalgic tone. Kimimaru did not know how to respond to that. Being a leader for his people was an honor and responsibility that he was glad to accept. But Naruto was different, and that is why he will always be weak. But there's a lot of morons, said Naruto, snapping from his thoughts, that believe that someone like me can do something about this world. That I can lead this world into a better state than the one I was born in. Men are doomed to die, but yet we still struggle until our last breath. Maybe we can't meet the Otsutskis, and eventually, our world will be destroyed. But I refuse. Kimimaru clenched his fist at that. I refuse to wipe out half of mankind, hoping that the other half shall rise to the occasion. I refuse to condemn my people to death. I refuse, said Naruto. As he raised his blade, you fool, said Kimimaru. I'm not the chosen one, Kimimaru. I'm just a stepping stone for the future of my race. Let the Atsukis come, man shall live and die as one. As long as the line of Naruto Uchiha survive, there shall always be someone that defend this world. Always, no matter what. There will always be someone that defend the world of man, said Naruto. You fool. You shall doom this world, said Kimimaru furiously, as he unleashed two long white spears from his arms. The 9 ghosts stepped forward and surrounded Naruto from all sides. Yet, he smiled. Just as the ones before believed in me, I shall believe in those who shall come after me. That is my final choice. Dawn started to glow brightly. Then, you shall all die, said Kimimaru. As Naruto raised his blade as the 9 ghost weapons smashed down on it. But he did not bend a knee. Kimimaru watched as he knocked them all away. He launched a spear right towards Naruto. To his surprise, the spear went right through Naruto and impaled one of his ghost allies. As Naruto turned and plunged his sword right through one of the heart of Indra's sons, the soul screamed in agony, but it was consumed in the blade. Free to join his father. The remaining ghosts jumped back on seeing one of their own being destroyed. As Naruto jumped away, a volley of bone shards ripped apart the ground. He looked up to see Kimimaru floating in the sky, black markings over his body, as he was surrounded by a dark, yellowish chakra. The sheer amount of chakra that man was generating was insane. His eyes were also changing. His pale eyes were turning blue, with a flower in the center. Dark wheel, reincarnation, explosion! A beam that was as large as a Bichu bomb was unleashed, as it was sent sailing right towards Naruto from Kimimaru. The entire battlefield was stunned by the explosion that went off. Action dust was everywhere, as there was a crater that was left behind was deep straight down, hundreds of feet wide. But there was something in the center. There was a roar. Kimimaru clenched his fists. Black flames shot forward, forcing Kimimaru to leap from the way. As something started to dig itself out of that crater, something large. It grew, dwarfing the Kyuubi. It towered like a mountain over the battlefield, dwarfing both dead and living. It had the body of a fully armored man that was covered in dark flames. One of its hands had a bright glowing blade. The other hand had a shield that was composed of dark flames as well. On its back were massive wings. Black wings. But the face was a dragon. The roar stopped both armies in their brutal battle. The monstrosity flexed its blade, releasing a bright beam that slaughtered thousands of dead. Within seconds, they were just annihilated into dust. The dragon's dark red eyes glared at Kimimaru, as Kimimaru saw inside Naruto stood, his red eyes glaring at him dangerously. Instead of being terrified though, Kimimaru smiled as he clasped both of his hands together. An army of bones exploded from Kimimaru as it transformed into a monstrosity. A replica, except it wasn't a dragon face, it was a face of a man, and it was glowing yellow eyes. While Naruto Beast was covered in the flames of Amaterasu, both monsters had wings on their backs, and swords and shields. The dragon Susanoo raised his blade, as the beam shot to the sky, tearing away all the dark clouds as the rain came to a stop. A part of Naruto could not believe the amount of power that was flowing through him at the moment. Even in his wildest dreams, he never thought something like this would be possible. His father would be so proud. Father. He clenched his fist to remember the Atsukis were probably running across his nation, probably butchering his people. His father was the last commander left that would have faced those monsters. The Atsukis already took a lot from him. No more! As the dragon charged, so did Kimimaru as well. Their monstrous blade clashed, releasing a violent explosion as a shockwave ripped through the land. Kimimaru raised a giant shield like spark with yellow energy. Enlightenment, he said. A ball of yellow lightning emerged from his shield, shooting towards Naruto as Naruto raised his shield and absorbed it. Kimimaru smirked as Naruto grit his teeth as a foreign energy was battling inside of his Susanoo. Kimimaru used that advantage to move forward to deliver the killing blow and end this. But The nine-tailed fox smashed right in Kimimaru, throwing him back. As Kurama looked towards Naruto, regret in his eyes. As Naruto looked towards his fox friend. I won't leave you. Not this time, Kurama said. Both of them were not beings of many words, but they gazed. As Naruto spoke, I am doomed to die, Foxy said, remembering Kimimaru's words. Then I shall perish with you, said Kurama, without any hesitation. A tired sigh left Naruto's lip, but it brought a small smirk. As his hand of Suno raised and placed right on Kurama's head, Kurama used his tail to show the same gesture as Naruto spoke. No matter how much things change, never lose faith. Not in yourself, not in your friends, not in your family, not in this world, said Naruto. What if there is no hope, said Kurama, as you remember how good the world was under the sage, and after his passing what it turned into. Yet Naruto smiled. There is always hope, he said. As Kurama's eyes widened, a single tear fell from his eye. Those simple words had shown him something that he had missed his entire life. He had lost faith. He didn't realize that. He had lost faith in Indra and Ashura, in the other Bijus. He had lost faith in the race of man. His heart was sealed away in nothing but a thick layer of ice until a burning sensation started to melt it, giving him hope, faith that he'd lost a long time ago. It made life worth living. In that moment, Naruto became the hope that Kurama had lost. As Naruto realigned Suno, as Kurama stepped beside him, Kimimaru was getting back up. For the world of man, Kimimaru quickly raised his shield as he felt the buildup of power. A Biju bomb was released that smashed into Kimimaru. As Naruto took to the skies, thousands of bones were vaporized, but they started to grow back. Kimimaru looked pissed. Force of death, he shouted as he slammed both of his hands together. Kurama howled in pain as white spears emerged from the ground, some of them stabbing him as he moved back. But it was too much as he was impaled all over. Something gripped Kimimaru warrior by the throat as Naruto gripped and threw him straight up in the sky. Kamui Shuriken, said Naruto as he threw the shield. The shield multiplied into hundreds, all of them surrounded by black flames, as they hit and tear away the bones of the warrior as they disappear into black vortex, never to be seen again. The broken form of Kimimaru warrior started to fall to the ground. Naruto, watch out! Kurama warned was a bit too late, as the bones that were falling turned into a whip and wrapped around the dragon's neck. As Naruto could feel his life force being drained away by the whip, the power that he felt from this whip was filled with nothing but Ten Tails power. It explained why these warriors were so strong, and why their weapons were so powerful. As Naruto came to realize that nothing was more powerful than the chakra of the Jobi wheel, Kimimaru yanked the whip, making Naruto warrior fell over. Gentle strikes, Kimimaru said. Hundreds of hands started to slam down into Naruto's Suno, right in the chest. Naruto screamed and coughed blood as each strikes. It felt like he was being crushed under heavy mountains. With every hit, more of his chakra was being depleted. Naruto roared out with his rage. Amaterasu, he said. A dark flames like a raging tsunami went after Kimimaru, who started to fly away, but it did not stop. As he was evading that, he barely even noticed the other persons coming towards him. Kimimaru was able to twist the body of his construct to dodge the Biju bomb, but it went off. His body was blown away by the shockwave. His warrior crashed down to the ground as bones were broken and shattered, but he could repair them as long as he had chakra. He glared at the wounded fox as he flicked his wrists. More bones ripped through the ground as one of them pierced right through Kurama's throat and one through his eye. There were seals on those spears that immobilized Kurama. Kimimaru then turned his head as he saw no Suno, or the king. He was nowhere to be seen. He spread out his senses, but he couldn't find him, not one bit, until the ground beneath his feet vanished as a dark portal opened up and sucked him in. Dark red eyes greeted him. From the darkness all around him, he saw the massive head of the dragon Suno, about to consume him. The beast's mouth tried to melt him in a volcano of dark flames. Kimimaru coated himself in his own chakra as he forcefully pushed it out. Yet the cursed dark flames consumed his own energy, but he got time to do what he needed as he saw the cursed boy right in front of him. Kimimaru leaped his original body as he brought his white spear down, as Naruto brought up Dawn and blocked it. As Kimimaru was inside the chest of Naruto Sano, the black flames were all around him, but yet he was not being consumed right away because of the ancient power that he possessed and the chakra of the jewel running through his veins. But his skin was getting burned. It wouldn't be too long until he was destroyed, but he was gonna kill the king first. As he tried to push on, but Naruto Mangekyou started to bleed. The flames intensified. Kimimaru screamed out. Kimimaru launched bone shards right towards him. Naruto shattered them. Kimimaru then launched his spear in his hand as Naruto raised Dawn and obliterated. Kimimaru pushed through though, as he appeared right in front of Naruto, who had used up so much energy and chakra already. As his eyes were getting hazy, the black flames started to die away as Kimimaru smirked as he leaped forward. As Kimimaru brought his attack down his palm, as he struck Naruto right in the chest. Shocking pain was the emotions in Naruto's eyes, as he felt nearly every muscle around his heart targeted. Kimimaru smirked, blood leaking from his mouth. All men must die, but I curse you to die of a broken heart, he said. But despite the lethal strike to his heart, Naruto's eyes snapped as he drove Dawn right through Kimimaru's chest, tearing through his heart. Kimimaru did not scream or grunt. He only gave out a weary sigh that marked the end of his life. As the holy power of Dawn started destroying from inside, there was no regret or remorse in Kimimaru's eyes. Till the very end, his eyes were filled with nothing but hate towards Naruto, until he was extinguished in a dark portal. Meanwhile, Naruto gripped onto Dawn, that calmed his body for the moment as a chakra. The power flew into him. As the sun vanished, the last remnants of Kimimaru was being consumed in a dark portal. Naruto used his Mangekyou to teleport him away. He opened his eyes as he was on solid ground. A strange sight awaited him. Thousands of souls were leaving. The dark power that Kimimaru used to bind them was gone. Because of his death, he saw Hoshirama and Snelly bid a farewell to Inma as he vanished away. Thousands more were doing that for their family as they went away. Kurama was rising out of the spears that had wounded and trapped him, but he was heavily wounded as Hoshirama and Snelly and several more healers came over to help him. The remaining Otsutsuki warriors were hanging on tall branches in pale all over. Hoshirama raged for them killing his younger brother. It was not just that though their body were beaten so badly. They probably didn't have the energy to fight back. Snelly had pulverized them. He collapsed to his knees as fatigue washed over him. As he realized many things today, Kimimaru didn't want him because of his power. That was not the only cause. He knew that there was nothing in this world that Naruto would not cross to protect the ones that he loved. He was not the strongest in the history of mankind, but he was one of the smartest and most creative ones. There was a great darkness inside of him, waiting to be unleashed. He might have resisted this time, but to think that he even thought about that offer to turn against his own race to protect his family unnerved him. Being a king was not something that he wanted, but know that he was one. A lot of people depend on him. He almost failed him today. He looked up as he felt a presence. Time seemed to stop as he saw the glowing figure as she knelt before him. Near as Naruto reached out to touch her cheek, but his hand went right through it. She smiled. She raised her hand and placed it right on his cheek as it went through his body as he felt tingling sensations. You did well today, she said in a proud voice, and he realized she was fading away like the others. No, he said. He lunged to grab her in a hug, but he went right through her. She looked towards him with a sad gaze. You have to be strong, no matter how much it hurts, she told him. I can't watch the people I love die before me. I can't let them go, said Naruto, as she knelt before him once again. It is never easy for anyone, not even you. But it is not the end. Remember our clan's last words for our departed, she said, as Naruto blinked. From the ashes, we shall rise again, he whispered to himself. Realization dawned on him as he looked at the sky where another portal had emerged. There were many people with Uchiha features looking down at them. Naruto did not know them, but Nero was crying as she looked at them. As Naruto saw the happiness in her eyes, as he gave her a smile. I go to my father's, where I shall find peace again, she said, as her essence vanished away towards the portal. As Naruto watched it disappear, Farewell, mother, he said. But guys, if you end episode right here, if you want to see the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm hoping I'll see you guys soon. Peace.